Alright guys, thank you for joining in on today's video. We're going to be going over some splits. I have with me Goblin. Say hey, Goblin.
Hey, Goblin.
Oh come on. So I have Goblin here with me, and we're going to be going over some splits and how to do some basic unit micro in-game. So first, I hope you watched the previous video first, just so that you get some basic understanding of how the game works and how to move your army around. But for this, we're going to be using our #1 hotkey a lot. That is very essential in your unit management and moving your units around. So, click 1 and you're going to select your whole army. Move your army to either the left or right, doesn't really matter. And then while that army is moving, you're going to select half the army and move it in the opposite direction. And that gives you a basic split. As you get more advanced with that, you can do more splits, like so. And then select your whole army again, move it back. So, just to go over this again, I'm going to select my whole army. I'm going to move them to the side. I'm going to select half of it, move it to the other side. Select the whole army, go back to the left, select half of it, now back to the right. And I can keep doing this to get a good split. So this is something that takes some practice and that you should definitely be getting used to in this game because it is something that you use a lot.
We're in 1, and whenever I'm on 1, I just right click, but that's not important. You don't need to APM spam. Just need to press 1 a lot so you keep your reinforcements coming. And then as you're moving, you just take the front of your army, split to the left, take even more of the army that's on the front, split to the right. And you want to make a nice little split so you don't have a lot of units sitting behind each other like this, because that's bad. And when you fight, those units won't be shooting, they're useless. So you want to have an even, like, fatness, I guess, on all your sides. Like right now, my right side is a bit too fat, so if I fight right now, I'm gonna kite forward with this side, so all of these back marines start shooting, because my split isn't perfect. So that's a way you kinda minimize your losses, I guess, if you have a bad split.
Okay, gotcha.
By kiting forward.
So what you're saying then is if you happen to have a side that has more units clumped together, you want to kite forward with them so that they can enter into the engagement?
Yeah. And then maybe if your other side is losing too hard, if you have a very big split there, you can move those units back while the others kite forward. But it's like APM intensive, so it's a bit difficult.
Goblin and I here are going to take a few engagements, and I want you guys to pay attention to how he moves his army, how I move my army, and just to see how the engagement goes.
Wow, this is a big conquer. Shit.
So this is one of those times when moving forward as a clump can be useful.
Yeah.
Would you say there ever is a time to move forward as a one big clump like that rather than trying to stay split?
I'm not sure, it's very situational.
What do you mean by that?
Do you mean like one big clump, huge clump of like this?
Yeah,
I guess if your opponent oversplits, it can be good. Like a big clump can sometimes win against a concave that's too big if the opponent doesn't pull back well enough.
Ah, you little turd.
That's a trick I like to do a lot. Have an uneven split that's kinda diagonal-ish. So you kinda cut into their concave with the stronger part of your army while you pull back the weaker half. And then as they collapse down onto the part that's in their army, you can sandwich that collapse in a way with the
Mhm.
other half of your army, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Right now, I'm thinking you're gonna have a standard concave like in a line. So I put this handful of units at the top, thinking those are more units than you will have up there. So if I kite forward, those units are gonna beat your concave and force you to pull back, giving me an even better concave. And meanwhile that's going on, at the bottom I'll probably start losing the fight because I've got so many units committed to the to the top. So at the same time I need to pull back the bottom before I lose too many units. And if I do it properly, I should just win the fight, I think.
I figured I'd take this fight, and whoa, there was that concave. And see how you were kiting up at the top? Let's go
Yeah,
back again.
and also pulling back on the bottom at the same time. So a move. Now kiting forward from the top. When I realize I won the top, I pull back the bottom edge. Now I pull back even more of the bottom, and then even more. I don't want to pull back everything instantly, just bit by bit by bit.
And at that point, I am forced to pull back because his top side beat me too bad, and then my bottom side wasn't fighting because he was pulling him back. So it was a really, really good engagement. And what was really good about his positioning there, I'm going to go back one more time, just a little bit. Now, what's really good about your choice here, you decided to make your top side the side that would be kiting forward to make the advancement. But because it's that side, you're also going to be cutting off my reinforcements, and it's going to be cutting off my method of retreat. So that optimally was your best choice. If you would have done it the opposite side, where say the bottom side here was the stronger side, and you're kiting forward with it, and your bottom side was weaker, that would leave my retreat back this way open. But because he was kiting forward in this direction, he was cutting off my retreat right here. So watch that. Let's go forward here. So he's moving forward this side, and I have to pull back. Now he's cutting off this section right here, which makes my retreat really difficult. So fabulous engagement there.
Should I go back a little bit?
No, we're good. I've remaxed.
You also have the advantage here. Your resupply is faster.
This is true, but I need it.
So this is another useful skill to have, being able to split as you're falling back, but I don't think it's gonna matter.
Ooh, I thought for sure you had me on that one.
Yeah.
So I'm pushing a goblin back. And then, so we're taking these engagements. He's trying to pull these units. I'm at the bottom down. Okay, now he retreated downwards away from his bunker. So I decided to make a move towards his resupply to try to cut that off a little bit. Goblin, in your opinion, is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Yeah, that's great. That's a perfect play. But it's also difficult because sometimes my resupply might pull your units to attack them and go more towards the bunker, while I might be fighting your main army with my army. Then it's kind of awkward to control. But I think you avoided it this time.
Yeah, because
Yeah, it's something that can happen and mess you up.
I know I've definitely tried this in the past where it screws me over, because what ends up happening is like if a player like you is good enough and is able to pull these resupply units back, and then I chase them too long, then I get stuck in this corner with your bunker, and then you're surrounding me with your other units, so then I'm in a really bad position. So this can be either a good idea or a bad idea. Let's see what happens from here. Because right here, this is where I see that weakness. Right here on the right side of your army, you've only got a few units, and I've got a big chunk.
Yep.
Right
Exactly.
here. So technically, you're in a better position, but like if we're talking all around concave, because most of my units are just chunked right here. But because you had so few units on your right side and I had such a massive chunk, it was able to flank. So let's take a look here.
Also, I split too far down right there. And
So
a
moving
lot of my
forward here.
units are shooting at your reinforcements
Yeah.
instead of making the flank. So that's kind of how the reinforcements can screw you.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go back and review that again.
Yeah, like right there,
Yeah.
like 10 Marines or something are shooting at the reinforcements
Yeah.
instead of making the concave.
Yeah. So like all of these guys here were attacking like this 2-3 Marines right here, when the rest of this army was attacking right here. Yeah. So moving forward. And then that causes that whole flank to fall.
Waiting on you. Arm who wants some? This better be good. You gonna, this better be, you gonna, who wants? You can, arm this, been waiting on you. This
So the thing here is that me having army on the left side of your army makes it hard for you to aim move, because units will keep chasing my units, even though you don't want them to, because they're
Yeah.
closer. So when you aim move, they
It
can
takes
chase.
a lot of clicking, that's for sure.
been waiting on who wants, been waiting. Arm who wants some? Arm there, ready. Coming through. You gonna,
I'm not sure who even won that one.
Yeah, me either.
I'm on 33 supply.
Oh, I think you won then, because I'm at 30.
Oh, this looks really bad for me.
Yeah, that was... What are these guys doing all the way up here?
The guys near the middle.
Yeah, uh-huh.
I kinda wanted to flank, I guess, but it didn't work out.
It was a really good idea, though. Because, I mean, like, look at this concave you have getting set up. Like, it's massive.
Yeah, it's not lined up very well, though. Like, the units won't be fighting at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's really hard to coordinate these things when you're getting chased.
Yeah, exactly. So the concave, it's good when it's... So are you saying that if it's too big, then it can become a problem? Because then, let's say my unit's here in the middle, I can chase whichever side I want because the concave is just so big.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can either take my whole army and push to your right, or I can take my whole army and push down. And either way, it'll be good for me, because then your other army will just be chasing.
Yep, exactly.
So let's see what happens here. So, and that's what happened there for a second. Ooh, those 5
So now
units.
So right now, so this is kind of random, because when you aim move, some of your units will chase the units on the left, and it's very hard for you to manage that.
Uh-huh.
But in this case, you got kind of lucky, and the same amount of units that I have is being chased by that exact amount of units.
Yep.
So it's like we both took the same amount of damage from this.
Yeah.
But you have a better concave in the main fight.
Yeah. Ooh, I pulled back too far on that. You little mineral hoarder. Oh, okay.
These are the fights I love. These little skirmishes.
Yeah. Those ones are fun.
Comes the totally calculated flank.
The original flank.
Yeah, it's a bit late, but
Dude,
it was actually a bad flank since you could just kite backwards.
Yeah, yeah. But look at the supply. You beat me by 5 Marines at the end of that.
Yep. Somehow.
Alright, you ready? Ah, sneaky.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
This better be good. By the number. Been waiting on you. By the numbers, boys. You gonna give me your been waiting on. Who wants some? By the numbers, boys. Been waiting
Damn,
on.
you're good. You're better than I thought.
This better be good.
Ah, dang it.
These are some even fights.
I don't know, you keep barely winning though.
Been waiting.
Okay, so here comes the concave. At this point, I'm committing to your bottom side since that's your weaker side, and I want to, I want to get out of there because I see how bad that is for me.
Yeah, and yeah, so far you're winning.
That was a
Kinda
bad
use mid here, cheeky, hoping that you don't see it.
Yeah, so I kept my main army running away so that I could win the fight in the middle, and then get the advantage at the concave again. And as soon as you recognize that, you were retreating, which is definitely the smart move to make. Ah, I spent too long right there. My units that were pulling back on the left side, I kept them out of the fight for too long. I think that's what, I'm going to go back here. So there, I have a lot of units right here and right here not fighting. And then I see that you're winning, gonna be winning here on the top side. So I pull back. I don't know.
The pull wasn't too long, it was just too clumped up, I think.
Gotcha.
So this is why I don't pull everything instantly, but pull bit by bit, like 4 units, then the other 3, then even more units, because that like kinda prevents the clump.
Gotcha. Okay.
This was very nice by you, kiting towards the weaker half.
Orders received.
All right.
I'm on it.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Dang it.
Who wants some? By the numbers.
So this is something I don't think people do enough. Splitting while you're falling back.
Yeah. So, retreating and splitting the army. So I start doing that here. Whoops. Dang it. Okay. And then here, you're going to be doing the same thing. So right now you're
Yeah.
splitting your bottom part, now your top part. You're splitting it, splitting it, splitting it. And then you engage. So retreating, so doing your split during your retreat is definitely the best time. One of the best times to be doing that, because then you're also regrouping and building your army with your resupply.
Another trick is when loading your bunker. I see a lot of people don't really know how to load it, I guess. So when they're falling back, they like click on their bunker, but then when it fills up, their units are still stuck on the bunker trying to enter. So instead of doing that, you can click on your bunker with all of your entire army, then shift click behind it, and what that does is it makes the 4 closest units go in the bunker, but the other units will go behind the bunker instead of trying to enter it, because the game kind of calculates that those extra units won't fit, so it doesn't even try to get them in the bunker.
Okay. If I'm retreating back to my bunker, you said to click on it and then shift click to the back?
Yeah.
Okay, so click, shift click. Yeah, look at that. Good idea. Good, good. That's awesome. Those are the pointers we're looking for, Goblin. If you click on the, so you select your whole army, click on the bunker, and then shift click behind it, and only 4, yeah, it'll, those 4 units alone will.
And it's big because usually your entire army would get stuck entering the bunker, and then you have to click behind it manually, and it's just annoying.
Yeah,
And then
that's
you
cool.
lose some of your units.
I like that. Okay, so click, shift click. Wow, that is impressive. Cool.
Damn, now I just got less feed in every single game I'm gonna play tomorrow. It's very useful if you're like getting 6v2'd and you have bunkers on your ally side. You can just shift click the bunkers on your ally side and then shift click the A move on your side. So the game automatically sends the units to fill the bunkers on your ally side while your units will keep defending your side. So it's quite useful if you're defending.
That is a fabulous point. I really like that. Alright guys, thank you again for joining with us on this video. I hope you learned a lot with splitting and how to take engagements. Goblin and I took a lot of engagements with a lot of different outcomes, and I hope you can see what different situations work, what different situations don't, how you should be splitting your army, and how it should be moving during the engagement. But stay tuned guys, and we will be making future videos on map control, on how to take fights, late game, and please comment below if there's anything else that you would like to see, any situations that you want to see played out, and we will accommodate that for you and continue to make these videos.